So here's two motor holding pliers. These work pretty good. This work pretty good for holding the motor when you change props. I've had this one for quite some time, but it did the work fine, but uh, it wasn't that good because it had these metal prongs right here that hold the inserts. I guess these are silicon tubing or silicon rod inserts, which is what holds the motor by friction. These were really loose, so they fall off. They'll fall right off. And these protrusions here, these things that would stick out to hold the rods, would actually scratch the motors. I actually ground off those pointy material with Dremel. So I ground it off, and of course the rod it didn't hold the rods anymore. They are really loose, so I had to end up using this shrink tubing. So now it works a lot better. It doesn't scratch the motor, and the tubing doesn't fall off. So as you can see there, but it works okay for 2205s, and for 1407s. For 1407s, it's pretty good actually. That's like pretty good. And then this is another one that I also bought from. This one I got from Hobby King, but they also sell it at Banggood on the RealAcc brand. And this one's a RealAcc branded. And this one works pretty good. I really like it. It's small, so you can just toss it in your flight backpack, and your field backpack. But it does have some things that I didn't like, so you also have to modify it. It comes with these rubber. It comes with these rubber band things that they go in there, but they're loose, so they'll fall off. Like every time you put them, it doesn't hold it too well, so it'll fall off. So you use some shrink tubing there, and that holds it in place. And also I had to grind off some material because it just wasn't fitting the motors properly. The 2205 motors, it just wasn't a proper fit. So it would hold the motors fine, but what ended up doing is, because the motors would only make contact here and here, these rubber things actually started to grind off, and it ended up ripping. So I had to put new ones. So these they give you a lot. They give you like 4 or 5 of these, I think. So there's plenty, but I recommend you grind off this portion here and also this portion here. It's quite a lot of material that you have to grind off, so you gotta have a good Dremel or a good file, and it takes a lot of time because this is like really hard aluminum. So with the Dremel, it gets messy, and on the grinding bit, like aluminum starts to stick, so you have to be careful about that. You don't want to mess up your bit. But eventually, like it ended up like being like a really good fit, and I like this tool a lot actually. Works really well. There's no gap like before. There would be a big gap right here, so that wasn't making contact. It was only making contact there and right there. So you had to grind this off and grind this off, and so now it makes contact pretty much all the way around, or except there. But that's not supposed to not make contact, or there. But it makes a lot of contact now. So like you can you get a really good grip on the motor, and you can pretty much undo any nut really well. And the small one also works pretty good too. I didn't have to grind anything. I'm just using this heat shrink tubing to hold the rubber thing. So this works really well for the small motors, as you can see right there. And I'm able to like really tighten it. Like it'll still turn, but I mean that's like you have to really put a lot of force, and to untighten is just pretty easy. Very easy to untighten. See? So that's a neat tool to have. A lot of people just use just end up using like some kind of channel locks, and then just use some kind of rubber or heat or shrink tubing, or they grind off the teeth on the channel locks and just somehow cover it so you don't mess up your motor. So that works pretty good too. But I like this one. It's small and it's not too expensive when you use your Banggood points. So there you go. Just a quick tip on a useful tool. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to hold the motors. I was just using my hands for the most part, but when I was doing these small motors, a lot of these props are kind of fragile. So like if you keep holding it too much, or if you're not careful, you may end up bending a blade when you tighten it. So that's not good. So it's better, yeah, it's good to use these.